When you hear the gong, pikank, you know we got it going on. Guys, welcome back. Welcome back. I think you're in for a treat because it's not Treat Williams. You're in for a treat using your eyes and your ears. An oral snack
of Treat Williams.
Of Treat Williams. Guys, welcome back to Pencil to Pencil. Not Pencil II Pencil, it's Pencil TO Pencil. Brought to you every Wednesday evening by your three expert cartoonists who, you know what it is, lock it in. You know those three guys with smiling angelic countenances, matinee idol good looks, and lantern jaws. Where else are you going to get that? In spades. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't say that it's Pinch Me, I Must Be Dreaming time. Guys, welcome back to the show. Let's do some introductions. I am your first host. I wear many hats besides this one. My name is JAMAR NICHOLAS. I am on the board of the National Cartoonist Society. Guys, in mere months, we are going to infiltrate Columbus, Ohio for the Rubin Awards and Conference. It's the 80th anniversary of the NCS being a thing in the world, and it's going to be a cavalcade of stars, a night of night, a show of shows. I hope to see you there. Also, I am the chapter chair of Philadelphia Go Birds. Also, just because Mike keeps asking, I'm going to finally say. And on top of all these things, I have a graphic novel series at Scholastic Graphics. Leon and the Big Problem is my next book, which will be out. Hold on, I'm getting it ready. Those will be out January 2027. Look, there it is. I did it. Finally. Hold on. Let me move all this detritus. Yes, Leon and the Big Problem will be in stores now. But guys, you know what to do. You need to pre-order it. Pre-order it wherever books are sold. One of the greatest things I hope that I'd ever get to say in my life, wherever books are sold. Also, try bookshop.org to represent your local indie shops. Pre-orders are kind of like the way the ball moves these days. So don't wait. Don't wait for the trade, you guys. Cop it now. Why don't you? Guys, you had it loaded up. Guys, I would be remiss. I would be in remission if I did not introduce my cohort, co-conspirator, and co-conquistador. You may have barely missed him driving down the internet superhighway. He was walking up the side of the road. You saw him with a melodic tinkle at his back. Please, you would not like him if he's angry, so let's not get him there. Guys, please welcome your friend of mine. By God, it must be Stone Cold Steve Conley. What's up, Steve Conley?
Gentlemen,
Yes.
It is so good to see you. I missed you all so much. I am just back from Heroes Con, and boy, are my arms tired. My name is Steve Conley. You may know me from your 23rd favorite webcomic, The Middle Age, and your 745th favorite webcomic, Astounding Space Thrills.
I love it.
You can find The Middle Age over on Webtoons, Tapas, Go Comics, and my own website. You also can find my TTRPG stuff. Go to steveconley.com and just poke around. You'll find it. It's right there. It's a delightful website. I'm also a card-carrying member of the National Cartoonist Society. I will not be able to attend the Rubens this year, but I will be sending in my video acceptance speech, which is what you do if you're nominated. On the off chance you win, on the off chance I win, the good chance someone will win, but the off chance that I win, they'll play that video. And I do want to make a video at some point where it's just collecting all the acceptance speeches for awards I've never won. I'll post it at some point. But I would be remiss if I didn't introduce the Tower Power of the Man Hour. Too sweet to be sour. The Razzle Dazzle Raconteur. I heard someone say that about Orson Welles. The Razzle Dazzle Raconteur.
I'm a raconteur, huh?
I love it.
Your favorite maker of marks, Mr. Mike Manley.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
I'm the mark maker of your childhood.
I love it.
And I'm also a member of the National Cartoonist Society, but I have no idea where my card is. And I also will not be attending the Rubens, but maybe some year I will. But I'd like to dedicate this episode to the memory of my father, Pierre Manley, who passed away last week at the age of 93. And I think one of the big reasons why I got into comics was that my dad was really a big comic, but especially comic strip fan. And was a big fan of the Phantom. And I remember he used to tell me about comic strips that he read when I was a little kid. So he would tell me about the Phantom. And in fact, he was probably more excited about me drawing the Phantom than anything else I've ever done, because that was his favorite strip as a kid. But he also liked Dick Tracy, and he liked Popeye. And I remember as a kid, he would tell me about Popeye and the Jeep, which is in strips, but not in the cartoons.
Oh, Eugene the Jeep.
Eugene the Jeep, yeah. And so he would tell me about stuff like that. So, and I remember many a time, you go to the drugstore or the grocery store, and, he'd let you take the change out of his pocket. You could go buy, that's back when comics were like, 12 cents, I think? In the 60s, they were 12 cents. But there were these vending machines in some of the stores, I think like Kresge and a couple other places. So they were like a washing machine where you put the money in and and then the comic would fall out. Right. So you'd look in there and you go like, oh, that's the one I want. But you might have to go through a couple before you would get that issue. But yeah, I bought a lot of issues of Superman and stuff like that back in the day. So yeah, he was a big fan of my my comic career. So I dedicate this episode to him, and I was glad I got to get there before he passed away, because it was with my deadlines and everything. It was pretty. I had to really jam to get ahead, and Brett Blevins and Mimi Simon helped me on the Phantom. I had to gain a couple of weeks because that's the thing about the comic strips. There's one every day. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, when Paul Ryan passed away, I think he passed away on a Thursday or Friday, and I was hired and working on the strip with less than a week.
Mm.
So it's different than comic books because you could get a fill-in, you know,
Right.
but you can't really do that, you know. Or in the old days, you get a reprint. You know, nobody does that anymore. Nobody goes, oh, you know, so and so's late. You know, I think in fact that issue of Daredevil I did with Al Williamson over Steve Ditko was because JR Jr. was running late, and so I think they had Ann Nocenti. They used to, back in the old days, they would write extra stories in case they got on a deadline, so you could slot something in. But back in the old days, they would reprint. But
so there's like
it was very different too, because if you were late, the printer charged you money. You know, if you're late on the comic strip, you would be afraid, like, well, there'd be nothing to run that day. Then they would just decide, like, well, we're not running that strip anymore. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a very, very different business, and so it requires you to be. I mean, a lot of guys are far ahead. I think Frank Robbins was like, he had like 3 stories ahead. He just had a whole story stacked. They usually ran, 14, 15, 16 weeks. And he was so fast that he would just have stories just ready to send in. I think Doonesbury was always like right on the wire because he's political. So he was always like trying to do what was current in the, the political situation,
He had to draw somebody as a floating disembodied waffle. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he was in so many papers that he could eat the late fee, but yeah, I mean, and even though we all work digitally, somehow it doesn't buy you any time.
Right.
That's the magic of modern technology. You think, oh, we'll all be so much faster because they're all working digital. And I just, I do this thing and boop, I send it right off to you. But it's like, somehow that never seemed to gain anybody time.
I mean, you don't have to drive like a bat out of hell to the airport FedEx.
Yes, but then I also don't get that delicious Taco Bell meal as a reward afterwards. So there is a trade-off.
I think your constitution will thank you for not having Taco Bell.
I had a crazy deadline when I came back, but I could have. I did have a Mexican dinner, but it was much better than Taco Bell.
I love it. You're getting a lot of love in the chat, Mike. Also, our good buddy Dollar Bill, y'all. Bill O'Donnell says, "Stone Cold, how are you feeling post Heroes Con?" Everybody's been busy.
I'm doing good. Energized. It was a really good show. And I left there with a lot of ideas, a lot of plans for 2027, and a lot of plans for Baltimore. So it's going to be good.
Are you like Pinky in the Brain? You have your plans to take over the world?
Yeah.
Domination?
Yeah. 2/3 of them will fail, but 1/3 of them will come out just fine, I think. There was a piece I had from Heroes Con. I did it just kind of when I was sitting there, just a little.
Oh wow, I love it. Is that on toned paper?
Yeah, like a blue toned paper. I'm on a Hanna-Barbera kick at the moment.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, I like that.
So I'm gonna add some stars, a little bit of cuteness to it, but a little Hanna-Barbera kick.
Did you get any sketches? Did you get any sketches from people?
Yeah, I did some commissions. They were not the Golden Age Flash, The Thing, stuff like that.
Did you get any sketches?
Oh, did I? No, I never really left the table. That's not fair. I left the table looking for. I was doing a little bit of shopping and just talking to a handful of people. I didn't really get away from my table though. Most of the time.
That's one of the things that people don't really realize. It's like when you're at a show, it's like you're running like a little store. So it's like, if you're signing or sketching, you don't really get a chance, like when you're going to the bathroom. Hi.
Exactly.
People literally under the way to the bathroom and back to your table.
Yeah, I saw a few pencilers and a few of our friends, but almost only in passing. It's like, oh, hey, I'm going to grab a sandwich or a coffee, but I got to be back at my table. I can't let a sale go by, or how long is a family going to spend at my table waiting for me to come back?
Probably they're kicking the tires at Steve Conley's table.
Tire kicking Steve Conley.
I do every year at Heroes set up next to America's Tom Zoller. And so we are able to cover each other's booths, but we don't handle commerce for each other.
What about Russia's Tom Zoller?
Yeah.
Do they enter the octagon and fight each other?
I think he won. I think the other THOMs are done.
Yeah, he's the King Tom. I love it. Even with teasing double coverage. All right, guys, let's start a show. And also, again, rest in peace, Pierre. Papa Manley meant a lot and still means a lot to me and to a lot of other people. And I concur with Mike. Let's dedicate this dope episode to his.
My dad, was a fantastic photographer.
Yeah.
So I think I got my sense of composition. And also the fact that I'm always Peter Parkering, taking pictures of everything. So if you go to Facebook and you look at Pierre Manley, you can see tons of his great,
beautiful photos.
Yeah,
he had a great eye. All right, you guys, let's start the wheel here. So I know some of you guys, and I hope all of you guys, have it marked on your calendar every Wednesday, 8 p.m. EST. Yo, it's Pinch Me, I Must Be Dreaming time. Let me log in. Right, but even for people who are just here with a Pavlovian reflex, still some people may not know what we're going to do when we log on. So I like that we start the show with a little slide. Shout out to Stone Cold who makes these graphics for us. And just for the sake of being repetitive, tonight we draw and jaw. Tonight we died in hell. So if you are new to this, Draw and Jaw is the series where your three expert cartoonists pull something out and work on it right in front of you. You can take that however you wish. So we're going to just kind of pass the screen around tonight, and let's see. I think I'll do Steve last. So, but Mike, what are you working on tonight? Should I put this on the stage?
I'm pretty shot today because I was up at 6 this morning, grinding on I was doing the last three, while Brett and Mimi were working on the first three. So my battery is at that thing where you put in the cord and it goes 1%.
Yeah, it goes, right. Yeah.
It's like, will it die before it before the battery gets to 2%? So I just thought I always loved, one of the things I loved about comics in my career was getting to ink other people's stuff. And so I thought tonight, I think I did one before, but I thought, I always liked Gene Colan's stuff. And I thought that would be sort of a fun thing to just practice inking. Inking is very relaxing to me. Penciling is hard, can be hard work. Layout is the fun part, but then the real muscle part is, sitting down and, drawing all the little scales on Captain America's chest, So I thought I would just have fun, relax, chill, and ink on this Gene Colan Dracula. He's very always a lot of energy, a lot of atmosphere. I always really liked his work has so much feeling and so many great shapes in it. He was one of those guys, I think, that was able to sort of capture the energy in a way of Kirby, especially when he was doing like Iron Man and stuff like that. But I really think his best body of work was Tomb of Dracula. He and Tom Palmer did something like, 70 something issues. It's like amazing to think that people would draw 100 issues of something in a row. That was your thing, man. It's like you got your gig. You'd sit down and you draw. It's like now what, you get 4 and they're like, okay, I'm done.
Right. And that's a lot of Dracula.
It is, but the thing is, if you think about it, if you get to work on a character a really long time, you get to develop yourself, and you also get to develop the character.
Yeah.
If you hop from gig to gig to gig to gig to gig, you don't really get to. It seems. I mean, if it's like what you're doing with Leon or what Steve is doing, you're doing your own character, so you're building it from the ground up. But if you're a hired gun, like most people were working for Marvel and DC, you might, do a fill-in of the Transformers, a fill-in of this thing, a fill-in of that thing, a fill-in over here, over there. It's like, it's hard to develop a feeling sometimes for stuff. You know what I mean? It's like you're trying to figure out the feeling or know the character. And I would even say on Darkhawk, it's like probably by issue 5 or 6, I started feeling like I knew the character. It's different if you're doing Spider-Man, because you have all the Spider-Man you ever read, or you're doing Superman or Batman. You have all your favorite artists, all your favorite interpretations of the character. But if your own character, before the character lives in your head, so makes it easier to generate what you feel is a correct version of the character, takes a little while for that to develop. I think that's something that people don't really think about. And I'm not as much of a stylist, let's say, as Colin or Kirby. So somehow just somebody like Jack Kirby drawing an issue of something is already sort of exciting just because he has an exciting style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's same with Mike Mignola or somebody. If he draws something because he has such a style, but my work is not like that. I can draw stuff in a very stylistic manner, but that's something that I choose to do rather than something that's like just the way I work.
Right. What do you think about that, Mike? Artists who kind of superimpose their style on the work, or have the subject meet their style halfway because sometimes it can be really transparent. Like this Space Ghost should look like, part of the Toth lineage. It doesn't have a lot of my stamp on it. But what do you feel about artists in having their own stamp on things?
I think it's just something that either happens naturally. Like I said, like if Mike drew Space Ghost, it would look like a Mike Mignola drawing of Space Ghost. It wouldn't look like Alex Toth.
Right.
If Steve Rude draws Space Ghost, he's trying to make it look sort of like an Alex Toth drawing of Space Ghost, right? And I think there's artists, like if Don Martin drew Space Ghost, it would look like a Don Martin drawing of Space Ghost. Some artists are just like that. They just have a very strong personality. There's a certain way that they work, and I think certain artists say, like Michael Golden or John Byrne or Walt Simonson or Frank Miller, they have a very strong style. right? And there's a lot of little idiosyncratic things that Walt brings stylistically to his figures, right?
Sure.
You know, I would say someone like John Buscema, I mean, he's a very strong artist, but it's not nearly as stylistic as Kirby, right? So he's, in that way, he's probably more flexible because he can do a lot of different things. You know, I think sometimes when you're a real stylist, it's like whenever Kirby would draw Spider-Man, it always looked weird because he doesn't draw awkward, right? He doesn't draw idiosyncratic in the way that Ditko did, right? Like when he draws Spider-Man, he was like a Kirby character, which is not what Spider-Man was.
Yeah, power, but not necessarily fluidity. Like the kind of bendy, that bendy liquidity of a Ditko.
Well, you know, Ditko gave him that everyman quality, right? He would get an awkwardness and sometimes a sort of a gangliness of a teenager. And then Romita came and adapted that. But by then he was in college and he was more confident. And, you know, Romita is a more, he's a prettier artist. His people are prettier. They're more proportional. They're not, everybody that Ditko drew was kind of weird. You know, he was a cartoonist. He was much more of a cartoonist than Romita. So, you know, some characters have that kind of, you know, flex. Like if Ditko drew Captain America, he never looked as dynamic as like Kirby, you know. And there's a Ditko Batman comic that was inked by Craig Russell, I think. It was pretty cool, but it's also kind of weird, you know. It's more almost like a Chester Gould kind of a thing, you know.
Flat top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
noodle.
If Flat Top showed up in the early Spider-Man comics, he would have totally fit in, right? And then they eventually had that one guy, Hammerhead or whatever, that looked like Flat Top.
Yeah, it is basically Flat Top. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think that was when Ross Andrew was drawing it. But you know, if any of the Dick Tracy people turned up in the early Spider-Man stuff, they would have fit.
Snake Eyes, Neon Noodle.
Right, yeah. You know, a guy's made out of a lizard, a guy that's made out of sand, you know, a Dr. Octopus. I mean, they're great. They're great characters. But, you know, Neil Adams drawing Dr. Octopus, he looks a lot more realistic. And there's something that seems sometimes sort of odd when you take a character like that and you make it more realistic, I think. You know, I don't think it works as well.
Yeah, the chat is going in on what we're talking about. And well, Mike, you should start warming up your inks here before we run out of road. Let me show you what I'm doing. So, over the weekend, I had a busy weekend. On Saturday, I was in the Dutch country, you guys.
Dutch?
Yeah, I was in Lancaster. Doing a library workshop, a teen library workshop. And then on Sunday, I was in beautiful Trenton. You know, Trenton makes the world takes.
Do they still have their sign up?
Yeah, it's on the bridge. Where I was at the Trenton Charity Comic-Con, which is a high school show run by the students. I do 2 of those a year. I do this one in Phillipsburg, Comic-Con in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and they're very lovely.
Is the Phillipsburg one where there's a lot of professionals that go there?
Yeah. So yeah, the one in Phillipsburg, like Walt and Weezy show up, and
right, okay,
the Man of Action guys, you know what I mean? And it's for the kids, you know. So everybody, it's very family reunion-y, and everybody stands around with their hands in their pockets and they have a nice afternoon. And you know, and there's soup in the cafeteria. It's amazing. So at the show I was at in Trenton, I'm going to share the screen real quick. I'm going to blow you up. I was kind of sitting at my desk, and I brought my lap board. So I started doing some big Leon sketches. So I did this one, the Clementine. I could see that.
Oh, that's great.
And I brought my paint markers, and then I did this Leon, which I'm very proud of. I'm trying to get this light right. There you go. There it is.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you. I think sometimes everybody forgets that I'm a cartoonist. I actually draw stuff besides running my mouth. So I decided tonight I was going to kind of put this into the Clip Studio paint churn and kind of clean this sketch up, because I might do some stuff with it. So I'm going to show you that in it disappeared. Hold on a second. In Clip. So I kind of put this in a Clip Studio. I'm cleaning it up, and I'm going to like do a nice digital ink. And you know, the one that I did already was, you know, it was cool, but you know, being able to kind of blow this up and actually see what I'm doing rather than being hunched over a exhibition table kind of gives you another lease on the drawing. So that's what I'm going to work on tonight.
I love it. How do you like those paint markers?
They're great. You know, it's funny that our man Bill O'Donnell gave me a really great set of these paint markers. They're called Magic Fly. See, I'm screwing it up. I'm telling y'all the secret now. And I was like, these are amazing. And the second I went to go buy more, they don't make them anymore. Ain't that the cartoonist lament, right? But I think they just changed the name, and they might be something else. But they're magical, and you know how it's so hard to find a good, you know, like a really good white pen.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, you never. I have never found a perfect white pen.
They're hard, but you know what? This white marker in this pack is it's amazing. So anytime I get to use those paint markers, I'm always impressed by what I get out of them. So, you know, I'm just going to clean up this drawing and see what happens with it. And Steve, what are you doing tonight?
Where do I get off? What am I am working on an episode of The Middle Age. I am multitasking. Yeah. I know how to share my screen. Oh wait, no.
Do you need me to take mine off?
No. I think we're good. There we go. Share. This should work. One might think.
Yeah, hold on.
There we go.
Nice.
So this is
nice.
I'm working in Procreate, iPad Pro. Got a bunch of layers here, and it's kind of my standard template for drawing the comic. And I'm just sketching in right now. So that's where I is in the process.
So, you know, it's funny that even though if I have your process down, you're not going to print this out and ink it by hand, right? But you still work in that non-photo blue color. Blue. It's just kind of
out of habit. It's got to be a different color. It helps me to have a different color because when I'm inking, if it were a gray line, I'd be unsure if it's on the ink layer. So to me, it just helps me know which layer I'm dealing with.
That's looking sharp, Mike.
Well, it's kind of low res. I blew it up, so I'm having to add a little bit more me to it.
Yeah, I could tell that immediately. The eyes went from being like Colan to more of your style versus, you know, kind of a little bit of Buscema. a bit of Kubert.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
like
that's
it.
always the way when you work, you always bring some of your own style to it. You know, it's like you have a way you do eyes, and he has a way he does eyes, and you know.
Love it.
I like it. I like my man's Vincent Price mustache.
And it's so blurry, it's so pixelated that Mike really has to make a lot of choices.
But again, that's the fun part, and that's where you, as an inker, the best inkers draw. You can have a very nice line, but if you don't know what the line is describing, like, you know, right here, I have to look at his mouth, which is, you know, kind of going down into his cowl. You know,
Back in the day, everybody looked like Vincent Price. Like you'd be at the 5 a dime, and like there's like 8 Vincent Prices in the checkout.
we just don't have actors like that. You know, those people. Well, Vincent Price was such a great actor with
Peter,
just his voice.
like Peter Cushing, like those guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
those, you know, that's why they were so good. You know, Boris Karloff the same way. I mean, the guy had an amazing voice.
Don't forget Hollywood's favorite star, Ashton Kutcher. You can't talk about the greats without naming Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, I guess I already forgot.
All right, I'm not going to front. Butterfly Effect was dope, but that's kind of all I got. That's all I got.
Is he even acting anymore? I mean, he's like a lot of those people. It's just like, you know,
Yeah.
there's so many good character actors that are gone now. You know, people who made their whole career. You know, people like, you know, Pat Buttram, who was like in a million things, or you know, Phil Silvers, or all these.
Phil Silvers.
Phil Silvers, what are you doing here? Yeah, you know, I love. What was I was watching? I'm always watching old stuff.
Yeah.
Because I just find it. I'm at the point where, like, I was telling the guys that coming back from California, I was watching Avatar, the third one. And it was like torture watching it. I mean, amazing talent, but I didn't think the story was very good. There was almost too much going on the screen all the time, so you can't really focus on anything because you're looking at the people, but then the background has got like 5 billion things going on, and it's so over detailed. It's just not poetic. So your eye cannot absorb it.
And that's funny to me because Cameron's such a strong director. You would think, you know.
Right, but his best films are films that were done in the old-fashioned way. They were not all done in the computer.
Right.
Right. So when you're looking at something in Terminator, or you're looking at something in Aliens, there's stuff just because of the physical nature of the camera that's out of focus, and the stuff that was physically lit. Right. So there's all that going on, and then in here you can have as many highlight as there's no limit to what you can put in the front in the scene. You can have as much shit in there as possible. But I find that the older I get, the more I find that unsatisfying. You go and you look at something like Lawrence of Arabia, and the things that make it beautiful are real things that the creative people, the director, and director of photography, and all the people that work on the camera, You know, you got to be there at that time of day when that shadow from the sun hits the thing to do this. Right?
Right.
And if you don't do it, you got to come back the next day. Right? That cannot be successfully replicated for the most part, because I think you have to have an eye that was trained at looking at real stuff.
So what about these directors who do have those chops in the digital age? Do you think there's also, you've talked about old man drawing. Do you think there's old man directing?
I don't know if there's old man directing. I think a director like Hitchcock, right? I mean, he storyboarded all of his stuff. Mm-hmm. Look at something like Rear Window. It's completely fabricated.
Right.
There's nothing real, right? I mean, the set is real, but he constructed that whole set, constructed the apartment, constructed everything so that he could get the shots and get everything the way he did, and he storyboarded everything out. So he was a guy who really, to a great degree, planned his stuff out. But, you know, he built that up. I think if you don't, and again, you know, the tools are incredible. Obviously, you can make anything you want. What I'm talking about is a sense of aesthetics that I think can get lost or swamped because you can add to, you know, it's like, okay, I want a peanut butter and jelly. Or I want a peanut butter and jelly with every kind of jelly in the world.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I saw this fan-made Avengers versus Justice League thing. Was like a month ago. It was on Facebook.
Tubi.
Right, number Tubi to continue right at the end. Anyway, it was shit. Right, it was shit because it was boring. Nobody knew how to stage a fight. You know, a computer is going to give you a fight, but that doesn't mean that it's good staging.
Right.
Right. And a computer is going to give you something that looks kind of like Chris Evans, but it's not going to act like Chris Evans.
Right.
You know? That person was not Joe Johnston. Right. They didn't storyboard out the whole thing. So you basically had the fantasy of the two universes meeting and everybody looks like everybody and the voices kind of sound like, but it was boring. It was boring. The fights were boring. The staging was boring. So again, you can have the technology that can actually give you what you want, but your choices are poor. Your choices are poor.
That reminds me of that video that was going around a couple of years ago. I think it was during the pandemic. It was like, I don't even know if it was AI yet, but it was like Wolverine and Wonder Woman on a beach.
Like,
fighting for like 9 minutes.
And it was boring.
It was bad boring, yeah.
It was boring because it was so poorly staged. So, okay, Wolverine cuts her. And she goes, huh? He looks at her leg, and then she punches him and throws him into a rock and pulls him in the water. It's like, you can do all that stuff, but that stuff only has impact if emotionally it's well done. Otherwise, it's just like, you know, you're playing a video game where they're just punching each other. You know, that cannot be manufactured. The choices, because we're all talking about choices, right? So when I look at something, I thought that Cameron's choices were not as good in this as they were in The Abyss or certainly Aliens, right? Or even, you know, Titanic.
Hold on. What up, Jeff? Jeff Yins in the chat says, did you guys hear about Martin Scorsese using AI for storyboarding?
Yeah. He sucks.
All right.
And he should know better. But I think the thing is he doesn't really care because he's probably invested in that company. I mean, a lot of these people that are doing AI, it's like what happened with Jorge Gutierrez. He did that deal with Amazon, and everybody fucking jumped down his throat. And then within a couple of days, he's like, okay, yeah, no, he pulled out of the deal because people were like, you're a big champion of animation until, you get your deal with Amazon. Then it's like, now you're a traitor. So.
Yeah, and it's just so much money. There are so many companies and investors are trying to justify the expense of AI. They're just trying to force it on as many projects as possible. So you probably get a big, just like at the end of the movie where they thank Georgia and Toronto and every state that they film in. I'm sure they're at some point they're going to be thanking the AI companies for their financial support. I don't think it's not an aesthetic choice. It's not. I'm pretty sure Scorsese couldn't set his VCR. I don't think he's knowing. I don't think
that guy
using AI.
Yeah, that guy can work with the best people. He has enough money that he can afford to get the best storyboard people. He can do anything he wants, right? This is a tone deaf decision, just like Gutierrez made a tone deaf decision. And then when everybody jumped on him, he was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm sorry." Well, you should have kind of thought about it in the first place. It seems quite obvious. I mean, I talked about it on here before. I could take my stuff and I could storyboard it out and go and probably make a little cartoon, sort of like my version of a Rankin Bass kind of a thing with the skeleton kids. But I don't want to do it because I don't want to use AI. Right, so you can make a choice if you want.
You do you.
You can make a choice if you want. A lot of people like Scorsese were shitting on superhero films until he does the Joker. Then like, oh, now it's okay because I'm doing it.
Mm.
So yeah,
let's see what the chat's doing. Hold on a second. What up, Asa? Everybody's talking about AI. Cruz and Bill, what up, Cruz and Bill says AI is that easy money though. Companies think they can just use AI and not worry about having to pay employees. Sure, they may make less, but really they make more when you factor in the lower overhead.
Well, they've invested so much money now that they're all going to go out of business unless they basically force it to be successful. That's their thing now. Because Wall Street is up. Everybody's investing in AI. So if AI turns out to be like, oh, well, we were going to replace everybody with robots. Oh, shit. No, we can't do that. Right? A lot of people, Meta just got rid of the whole metaverse thing after he spent $90 billion. And nobody's wants to go play with Mark Zuckerberg in his metaverse. People are like, nah, that's okay.
I'm good.
I don't need to see Mark Zuckerberg with a pair of tits. Sorry.
Wait, I think I missed something.
Yeah.
So hold on. In the chat, our good buddy Scott Kurtz, who's been in the chat. Scott says Cameron was arguing with Keanu Reeves about digital versus practical, and Keanu said, "I prefer filming on a real set." That's by Keanu. And Cameron said, "You've been on a set. Nothing is real." So he doesn't get it.
I don't know. Cat's out of the bag. People are going to do what they want. But I think the thing is you're going to have people that are going to come out, like there was that horror movie that came out that they made for like no money, and everybody's like, oh, that thing is awesome. So you're always going to have a Blair Witch You're going to always have somebody who really has a vision, who comes along and is able to take something like AI or their cell phone, and they really have a vision and they have something to say, and they're going to make something good. And then you're going to have everybody else who just tries to imitate, because that's what Hollywood is. Hollywood is basically an imitation machine. When you go in and you say, I want to do something brand new, they're like, oh, yeah, that sounds good, until you actually try to do something brand new. That's why they keep doing sequels, because sequels, if they just keep making Moana 9, there's a built-in audience for it.
9-wana. Our good buddy Shanshai from the Land Down Under says, yeah, I feel like a lot of movies lately have felt like a series of checkboxes rather than each scene being an important storytelling element. Nice. Before we fall down this hole, as you know, we're good for rabbit holes. Hold on a second. There was a question here for Stone Cold. Uncle Mike, not Mike Manley, Tio Mike asks, Steve, are those sketches from Heroes spoken for?
Oh, that's a very sweet question. No, they are not. I'm gonna make them available on the Facebook. I really like what Rick Veitch is doing. I don't know if anyone's been seeing that and following. It's pretty brilliant. He has been, because Swamp Thing 88 has finally come out after nearly 40 years. And they have blank sketch covers, and Rick is doing these paintings on each cover and then posting the image on Facebook and saying the first one who claims it in chat just has to pay whatever the price is plus shipping. And that seemed to be like a pretty cool thing. I think it's doing something that's beyond just moving books. It's also improving his engagement, because people are checking to see, has it been claimed? It's getting people to jump in, claim. It's people are looking to see if it's selling. Really smart. I think it's getting. It's not just selling things or like doing a whatnot, but with Facebook, it's really doing something for his numbers too, which is super interesting since nothing seems to move the needle, and he's been doing this consistently. So it's beautiful art, and he's doing great. So the pieces, if anyone missed them earlier, this is one of them. It's upside down. It's just a little space ghost.
Well, I feel like Tio Mike wants to buy that, buddy. So, what's what all the?
I feel like I gotta show some. I gotta put these online so people can see that I got chops.
What's all the hoop jumping? Just sell it to him.
That's fair.
Also, our good buddy Joseph Cahoon Droth says, do you guys ever dabble in Zipatone screen tints anymore? Like,
yeah, I have some actual old Zipatone still.
Mm-hmm.
And I do use it in Clip. The Clip has a nice zip set.
Yeah. Mike, hold on. Mike just went to go get his zip. Mike, make sure you're getting the right zip. You're not, Let's see what he's doing. Oh, there he is. I didn't see you. I just saw the top of your head. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us on a Wednesday evening. I know our numbers are up because the NBA Finals is over.
Did you watch any of it?
I watched the last game. It was pretty exciting. Good for the Knicks. I like that New York is back. Like, New York has been taking L's for a while, but rowdy, out of control New York is back, and maybe they'll take some heat off of Philly for a bit.
Are you watching the World Cup?
Hold on one second. Steve Michael says, I am me. We could work something out.
All right, I will.
And Steve Peters says, noise ghosts. Shout out to Mark Manley's in the chat. And Mark said really nice things about your art earlier in the chat. Asa says New York needs Philly energy. They want to go insane, and I think they're hitting all their marks, doing them. What else? Oh, also, this is oh, you know how Steve always makes the little heart thing with his hands? You know, you do that thing. Steve, uh, our buddy Scott Kurt says, is anyone else feeling isolated? This feels like the pandemic again. Scott says, I really wish I had other creatives near me just to sit next to and write. I'm jealous of those with studios. How do you guys feel about that, or how are you getting down these days?
Just Zoom with people.
Yeah, you hear that, Scott?
Just Zoom with people. I Zoom with people all the time. I Zoom with Mimi or my friends John, and I used to Zoom all the time. Because you can turn it on just like this, like basically what we're doing now. What we're doing now, where each one of us are sitting here drawing, and you can just turn it on and draw.
I love it. So Chris Eliopoulos, what up, Chris? You know what? This chat is lousy with cartoonists, Steve Conley. It's filthy with cartoons.
Thick with.
It's thick. Chris Eliopoulos says, I know you all are working visually. Do you ever go back and work analog, real pencils and ink? Well, yeah. Like, you know, just the sketch I showed you guys earlier was on paper. And Steve, what about you? Are you really kind of like locked into digital these days? I mean, you just showed us some sketches for Heroes. So I think we both all live in both worlds, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's more important now. Well, because the tools are much more like traditional tools now. Like my Apple Pencil is very similar to a Micron or a Copic. So I feel like they sharpen each other. Not like back when you're drawing with a mouse and then going back to my brush pens or something like that. But having the actual art at an art show like Heroes is super important. So I think if I were just doing work for clients or just doing my webcomic, I might just be digital only. But man, it's something nice about working without undo. Having to commit.
Asa, what up, Master Asa Incorporated? Asa says, I do a weekly Zoom jam with a musician. He works on music and covers while I work on 3D art. Wow, that's cool. Helps us both with good creative endeavors, energy, and our personal time. I like that. And you know what? I think people tried to make it seem like after the lockdown, like there was no point in being on Zooms anymore. But I think, you know, people found kindred spirits there.
Yeah, I like it because, like, last night I was Zooming with Mimi, right? And she's working and I'm working. And it's just like this. We're having a conversation. You're not necessarily always looking at the person, you know? And maybe if your screen is chugging because Zoom eats all your, you know, you have to turn your camera off. But yeah, I would say just Zoom, you know, get a couple buddies and just Zoom.
You hear that, Scott Kurtz? Make it happen. Who's on the screen? I'm trying to work on my Leon here.
We got Mike's doing his magic.
Nice. Joseph says, it's like I'm jumping around here. Joseph says, talking about people that have high places in the entertainment industry, what do you guys think of Disney getting rid of Blue Sky?
Oh, that was just a purely financial. Why do they need Blue Sky when they've got Disney? They've got all the people they need. They can just fold it in. Your Cartoon Network is gone. Now that Warner Brothers is gone, I predict that they're going to lose they're going to lose Warner Brothers Animation. I would not be surprised if it actually went away.
Do you remember I just shared that somebody answered a Facebook Marketplace ad, and it was all those giant statues from Cartoon Network?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were like in a barn, like a barn attic, and they were like, "Do you believe this? Look at all this stuff." And
The hard part is for artists really to understand is those people don't care about this stuff. They don't care about cartoons. They don't care about drawing. They don't care about Batman. They don't care about any of this stuff. We care about it enough that we devote our lives to doing this, but they could give a shit about any of this stuff. Doesn't mean Captain Kirk means nothing to them other than can they make money with Captain Kirk. They can make money with Captain Kirk, great. If they can't, see you, Captain Kirk. Don't be surprised if some of this stuff gets sold off. Why couldn't they sell DC Comics to Amazon? Why couldn't they shut down DC Comics and just keep the intellectual property?
Right.
I mean, Disney did that years ago. They got rid of all their they don't do comics anymore. Why do they need to do comics? They don't do Mickey. I mean, in Europe, in South America, they do some fantastic Disney artists. But man, they don't always. That's the one thing about working digitally. There's always like a little hole. But I like to still like to do work traditional. But I do this strips digital because it's faster, and the thing that's the most important is speed. That's the most important thing about my job. I'm doing 2 strips. I have to be able to do them as fast as possible. Aesthetically, yes, I prefer pen and ink. But the thing is I try to bring my same sense of mark making is making a stroke is still all muscle memory. It's still all muscle memory. And I would not have developed the muscle memory as well working digital. There's also things you learn by making mistakes.
Man, don't I know it?
Consequences.
Yeah, the consequences part. And living with the mistakes. That's it. I mean, that's part of it. Like also noting the limitations of a medium. Like how much can you put on a piece of paper before it starts to dissolve?
Yeah.
Or tear apart.
And the thing is all this, what I'm doing here, this is a computer program that's supposed to give me an approximation of what I would really be doing if I was using a Hunt 108 or a Raphael or a Series 7, although they're shit now too. All the brushes are going, everything is going. So in the end, even if you want to work traditional, you're not going to be able to work traditional like you used to because the tools are not going to be good. I know Steve Rude was complaining about that because he had some brushes that he liked. And that's what happens. Everything you get, if you find something you like, like Jamar was just saying, hoard it. Buy a lot of it. Buy as much of it as you can, especially if it's like brushes and paper. I don't know about markers because they might not last. But
the more things change.
That's what Al Williamson used to do. He told us in the beginning, if you like that pen point, buy a shit ton of it, because probably what will happen is that really started happening in the 80s. And going forward, you have to realize that less and less people are working traditional. I mean, back in the 60s, there were still thousands and thousands and thousands of people using this stuff.
Bill O'Donnell's got a great life hack. Hoard the pens, but don't forget the refills.
Yep.
Get those.
Well, luckily, with a pen, you can sort of refill it yourself. You can take the thing out and put the ink inside. I used to do that with the pits.
The pits.
The pit pens, I used to do that with them.
So there's another question here from our buddy Cruisin' Bill. Cruisin' Bill says, would you guys ever do a jam on a piece on here? Would you guys ever jam on a piece on here where each week you rotate a piece from each of you to the next? It would be interesting to see the evolution. That's cool.
I think we've also all talked about inking the same piece. That'd be interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, the Draw and Jaw series has no end. We could go on forever, ever. So yeah, those are all great ideas. All right, let's do a check-in. It is 10 after the hour. We have 20 minutes left in this show. Check it in, Steve. How's your layouts coming?
I only mostly hated one of them, so I'm kind of struggling with a figure. But I'm doing that kind of cheat where they're Sir Quimp, the hero of the Middle Age, is running with his sword, which he is sentient, so they have a conversation back and forth. It's a good space saver. But because of where the dialogue goes, I often have to make sure he and the sword are in the right location for the dialogue to bounce back and forth the way it does. But when you're running, you know how you want to kind of cantilever, left arm, right leg. Yeah. So I cheat that a lot with the cartooning. I hate to do it, but I'm doing that because it flows better. It shows off the figure a bit better. So that's what I was struggling with. I was just trying to make it work the other way, but I don't hate it.
Mike, how's the Patreon stuff doing?
I haven't checked it in a little bit. But we did get some people had joined, so we always appreciate it if you join. Chip us a buck.
Did you get like a URL name for it yet, or is it still a string of numbers? It's still a string of numbers.
Secret code.
Drink your Ovaltine.
I don't know. I guess I have to work on that. I haven't had a chance. They sent me some message where I have to merge something or do something. I don't know. They when you started out on Patreon, it was like you just do your thing, no problem. Now it's like, oh, you have to do this. Now you have to do that. You got to have a thingy and a thing over that.
Yeah.
Walt Simonson just said he lost his Facebook page because he had to sign in. Yeah, he had to sign in. And they're like, oh, well, you need to put in this code. Oh, you don't have the code. Sorry, bye.
If you put in those numbers, you can fight Mike Tyson in the last round of Punch Out.
Well, there you go.
I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I kind of miss that. I've been really glued into a lot of video essays. I guess a lot of them are by millennials who are talking about, analog world is very interesting to them now. And now it's like, ooh, my everyday carry is an iPod from 2007. And they talk a lot about choice paralysis. The fact that you can have every video game ever on a cartridge and you don't play anything because you can't decide on what to sit down with.
I think someone said that. The most popular show on Netflix is the selection screen.
Yeah, right. It's too like all that stuff on the screen. I don't want to watch nothing. I wound up watching the little landscape on Roku scroll by. The purple landscape on Roku is rolling. Dollar Bill, y'all. Bill O'Donnell asks, question for the trio. Who was your first big portfolio review, and what did you get from it? Oh, man.
Whoa.
Who was my first big portfolio review?
Yeah.
I think in person, it might have been Keith Pollard.
Wow.
I think. And then I posted several weeks ago that it's on my, I have it up on my blog. My review from George Freeman, where he went over my work, the samples I sent in of Captain Canuck.
Amazing.
That was probably the best first. I remember Polar said I was drawing my necks too short.
Mm.
But
How about you, Steve?
I had a terrible first comic in 1994. Oof, that's a long time ago. And I mailed the pages to Dan Adkins.
Crazy Dan Adkins. Yeah.
I didn't know he had any titles.
You weren't aware of that.
I was not aware. All I knew is that he worked with Wally Wood, and Wally Wood was like probably my hero at the time, a cartooning hero. And I sent it to him, and he wrote a very thoughtful response. I mean, to receive a package in the mail of some unknown dude's comic and to write a response back longhand, because I'm certain there was no email for him at the time. So there was an email from many people at the time, and he wrote back with a very critical response. He laughed at he thought a joke or two that I wrote was funny, but talked about plot and talked about gravitas and talked about grabbing the reader. And the best advice in the whole thing was, well, the weirdest thing about it was the whole thing was written in one of those pens where you would press the button and switch the color ink.
No.
So it was this curious code, which I don't think I ever quite deciphered, where there was like a color change for emphasis. But he said, learn to write and draw. And I think it could have been a gut punch, but it really just was about the rightest thing you could say. Learn to write and draw. And the first in-person one, which was very kind, was Paul Chadwick at Philly Comic Fest in '94. He very kindly again looked at my pages. I had put my comic pages in one of those leather like a portfolio, like an artist's portfolio, and I just put them inside the sleeves. And so I have this lovely presentation of absolutely abysmal work, and he was very kind.
That's crazy. I think I was at that show. Was that?
I know I was at that show. Yeah.
Wait, '94. Wait, was that the first?
That was the one at the
Civic Center.
Civic Center, yeah.
At the Civic Center, yeah, I was there.
It was all torn down.
Yeah, the Civic Center. That was the last thing the Civic Center did before they shut it down. Mine was Joe Quesada.
Wow.
And this was '96, I think. And I was trying to, I don't know what I was trying to do. If you looked at my work back then, it was some weird amalgamation of like image stuff. A lot of hatching and gritted teeth. It was not me.
I want to see that. I want to see the Liefeld teeth Jamar.
I'm not showing that to you, Mike Manley.
I want to see that. I demand to see teeth grittington.
I don't even think I was counting the teeth in the mouth. There was a lot of teeth in there.
It's like 47 teeth just at the top.
And they were all molars. It's like those early drawing of his teeth. All of them look like what the cavity creeps were attacking. It's like everyone's got cow teeth.
Can I put that in the chat? He said all molar. And I did a lot of not smart things, but Joe was very interested in my work, and I was like standing behind somebody who I think it was a pro. And this is kind of like when Joe and Jimmy were like indie rock stars, as I think they were doing
the Marvel Knights stuff.
No, that was before that. That was before Joe was at Marvel. That's when they were doing like Ash and 22 Brides and all the kind of like, they were like rock stars. And somebody came over to him, and he was like a working dude. Molars Brigade. Let's draw Molars Brigade. And Joe like ripped this dude apart. I can't remember who it was. Oh wow. Chris Eliopoulos lettered Ash. All roads come back to one place. Wow, that's fantastic, Chris. And Joe looked at I think I can't remember what it was. I think the first time I tried to have this review, they pushed me off. He was like, "Look, can you come back tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yep." So I came back, and then everybody was Starbucks and sunglasses, and they were like, "Yeah, bro, can you like come back this afternoon because we ain't there yet?" I'm like, "All right." So finally, I go back, and he was like, "Yo, this stuff is cool. Yo, Jimmy, check this out. Yeah. There's a lot of yeah, and a lot of cool. And right there, we started talking about like, they had some project they were working on, and they were kind of interested in having me draw it, and I kind of lost my mind. So that's when I started doing like I did some dumb stuff. Like I think I sent them original pages, and I didn't know how to I didn't know how to Xerox it and put it in an envelope. You know what I mean? And nothing really came of it. But it was that was like my first real foothold in wanting to get into the business.
Wow.
And then I started self-publishing soon after that.
Well, I've known you a long time. I never heard that story.
Yeah, it was, that there's some other parts to it that I'll just bypass. But
what happened? That's when you went and you went into the Husky department and did your 501 jeans ad.
Yeah, but you fly. I think soon after that, we formed the Indie Cred All Stars, my first cartoonist class. Just from how that went, but here we are now. And Chris Eliopoulos, my good friend. I got to see those Ash pages, buddy. Oh, and Chris lettered Green Lantern over him. So old. We have to have Chris on the show soon. So lousy with cartoons, guys. I've had a lot of fun tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I feel like we didn't get very far.
I'm almost done.
Well, speak for yourself, Mike Manley. Let's check in on him. Well, you know what? I did okay. Like,
I mean, it's just a pinup, so
lining this up. Hold on a second.
Well, you're tracing.
Yeah, you just tracing?
I just traced it. Yeah.
So I think our first. Our first new created character between the three of us is going to be Molars Brigade. And there's just going to be somebody with real flat teeth.
Well, this note kind of passed through while we were talking, just to talk about first portfolio reviews, and Bill added Adriana's first portfolio review was her at 18. It was with Will Eisner himself in Brazil.
Wow.
That's interesting. I wonder what he said. Because sometimes, the old guys are very nice. They're not all like Neil Adams, where he would try to see if he would catch flame.
Hmm. I think we're gonna try to make something on here. So, Steve, what about you? Steve, I don't know if you answered that Scott's thing about being isolated. How do you deal with that, or do you go through any pangs like that?
Well, I'm going to tell you, this podcast certainly helped, and even before I was on it, tuning in here on Wednesday nights was kind of a way to connect with you all. I think I might have mentioned that long before I was even a guest on the show. It's a chance, you were my virtual studio mates.
Before your interview?
Yeah, before my my audition.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
And I know I'm still in the trial period, but
right, yeah, that's right. Your 60 days are almost up, sir.
But playing D&D since the pandemic, that's a weekly appointment with friends. I'm not drawing during that time, so it's not creative. I mean, it's not creative in that way.
But are your D&D friends, are they in the business, or are they civilian?
No, but they were aspiring back in the day. They were all friends who I met through comics, and so we shared that. We played Marvel superheroes as much as we played D&D or Star Frontiers or Star Trek.
Star Frontiers! Oh my goodness, that's so good. Uh-huh.
So yeah, but it can be isolating, and I don't live near any other cartoonists, so it's not like the Philly area when it's
filthy.
You can't throw a
cheesesteak and not hit somebody.
You can't throw a cheesesteak without hitting a cartoonist.
Yeah, but the weird thing about that still is you can be in a place that has a lot of people, and then you still don't see them because everybody's inside.
Right, and I guess it really comes down to what it is you want, right? Like, do you and one of the first things that I really loved about kind of being in this lifestyle was like, hey, we're all going to get together and go to lunch at like 11:30 on a Tuesday, and you would just get up and go. Was very old timery. I like that part of it, but nobody really rocks like that anymore. But yeah, I think the Zoom really helps. And also our podcast really helps. And but also I know a lot of guys are just kind of natural loners. So even if you have these things available to you, a lot of people are like, no, you talk yourself out of things. I could tell you guys right now how many times I, even with my chapter stuff, it's like, hey, let's go do a thing, and everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. And busy's good, but you got to balance that out a little bit.
But it does feel also like if it's not a fixed schedule, it's often difficult. I mean, I think the regiment of the Wednesday night is super helpful. And the regimen of the D&D game, super helpful. People can play. It's hard to get grown-ups to all get on the same page when it's not the job. And all of us, given that like we can have Mike's got 5 deadlines waiting for him the second he turns off his camera. So the idea that he makes all this time for us is spectacular. And you with your crushing deadlines, Jamar.
Well,
like, hey, Scholastic, hey, give me a book.
Hey, you know what? This is all for the greater good.
You learn to multitask, you know. And since I'm not teaching anymore, this is sort of like an outlet for that. Sort of scratches that itch.
I did see.
There's no place left in Philly to teach except for maybe one place. All the other schools closed.
What were we going to say, Steve?
I did see the Tomorrow's booth at Heroes Con, and I saw the Best of Draw was available for purchase. So
4 cents. You can still get your copy for 4 cents.
They said if you trade a bagel, if you brought them a bagel, you could get a copy.
Right.
But convention bagel's like $13.
All right, guys. I'm going to. I think I'm going to call it. But hold on a second. Scott Kurtz is going to go teach. Scott, you haven't teach before, have you? I'm just assuming, but that's really great. I'm about to teach a cartooning workshop to 7th graders, 2 classes a week. I'm excited, but also very nervous. Now they're going to love you. You know, like there's something really great about teaching kids because, you know, they're just going to be in awe of you. So just lean into that and just hang out with them. Like, let's learn some stuff. They're probably more afraid of you than you are. like a field mouse.
Okay, I'm signing my name, and then we will see what this horror looks like.
Oh, you got it. You got it right under the wire. Nice. That's tight, man. Good job. And that was kind of complicated in its own way because you had to kind of like your original was real smushy, right?
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of stuff in here that I couldn't really see, so you got to kind of.
Yeah, that's great, Mike.
Well, thank you.
Fabulous, wonderful, wonderful.
You're good at this, Mike.
It's okay. You know, if I probably ink the real pencils and ink with a real pen, and you know.
So, Mike, what are you going to do with this ink tutorial? You're going to put it on a.
I guess I'll put it up on my.
Put it on a Patreon.
Yeah, put it on Patreon. Put it on my socials.
Very cool. Good job. Good job, everyone. So, Steve, I'm going to check in with you. Steve, what did you?
Oh no.
What did you get done?
I don't hate it. That's all I go for. I just try not to loathe it, and it'll feel pretty good. I mean, you just see it's just a whole mess of lines, but I know the good ones. I can pick the good ones out of that mess, and so progress was made.
Good job.
No, that's just a pinup you're just doing for yourself?
No, this is going to be an episode of the Middle Age.
Ah.
I'm getting work done.
Two birds with one stone. That's what I say.
Oh, sorry, Steve.
Oh.
So,
where do you ink that with, Jamar?
Just the what? Hold on, the real G pen in Clip Studio.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, the real G pen's got a little bit of a
grit,
a little grit to it. Yeah, just a little bit. I think the G pen's just a little too smooth for me. A little smooth brain. This kind of makes it feel like you have a little bit of a tooth to the paper. So this is kind of where I got off to, and yeah, I did some nice tracing tonight. Yeah. So, you know, I'm looking forward to actually doing something. I need to make some stickers or something because it's a good one. All right, you guys, pencils down. That's it for us. Thank you, Asa. Nice texture. Appreciate that. Mark will end us with the words. In the words of C3PO, I never doubted you for a minute. Wonderful. Oh, that's great. All right, you guys. Well, let's remove all this stuff from the screen. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. The time just melts away. I believe. I don't know what my calendar is, but I think I don't know. What yeah, want to know what we're doing next week. We could do another draw and jaw. We can do something else.
We could just draw each other's jaw.
That is a possibility. But whatever it is, you'll be the first to know when we tell you. Guys, I would be remiss before we get out of here. Please like and sub and hit the alarm bell. We do this every Wednesday, 8 p.m. EST.
And our Patreon. Go to our Patreon.
Join the Patreon.
Enjoy this. Give us a little tip.
It's at
$3
Patreon.
a month. $3 a month. You can't. It's $1 to each one of your hosts.
It's at patreon.com/random string of numbers.
Wait, where is it?
Got it.
There you go. There you go. If you put that in, you'll unlock Samus from Metroid in a bathing suit.
Yeah,
That's your cartoonist code.
Pencil. I think if you type in pencil to pencil, you should still take you there.
I love it. Ace said we should do a rough sketch for each other. All right, cool. And I love that you guys love this. We love doing it for you. Consider hitting the thumb button every time we do this. It helps with the rhythm. The rhythm, not the rhythm's going to get you, but the algorithm. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah, the algorithm is like really vicious.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, we're going to start to do the thing. Phil's right with us. Like, oh, the Zero Suit Online. Guys, our patron saint of Pencil to Pencil, the Sorcerer Supreme, Paulie Walnuts. Just imagine Doctor Strange in a velour tracksuit, right? And the Aya Agamotto is just pimped out, and he goes, "Hey, Mike, Drostradamus predicted all of this."
Ha!
So what he predicted is that, guys, we're in the end game. So I think it would behoove you as we go into that cold, dark night to make sure that you wash those Kirby hands. Let's see some good Kirby hands, you guys. Guys, thanks so much for your eyeballs. We'll see you on the other side. See you next Wednesday. Be good to each other. Have a good night.